around the nation. DYD Nation, Jeff Waldorf here. Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, hump day. A lot of stuff on the show today, so we're going to have a good time. We have, of course, updates to Giuliani, what's going on with him. Kind of important stuff. We have, of course, Donald Trump's response to the last Democratic debate that happened last night. Should be very interesting on that. I've got my own thoughts on the debate, and I'll give those to you at the beginning of the show. Then we also have important announcements about Senator Bernie Sanders and some endorsements that are really, really exciting. We'll talk about that. Then we also have an unfortunate comment from a CNN commentator about those endorsements. So we'll talk about that. Yikes. And then, of course, if we've got time, we'll get into some policy, including a new piece of legislation that came out yesterday, introduced by both Ilhan Omar and Senator Bernie Sanders, as it pertains to school lunches. So, like, school lunches, obviously not the sexiest topic, but really, really important. And so hopefully we have time to get to that. Okay. So that said, let me thank you guys for watching. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. That helps us out greatly. Other ways that you can help us, and kind of excited to point this out as well. So we're doing the YouTube memberships, right? And so YouTube membership, you sign up and you get like a badge next to your name and shout outs. And so now we've got two different members. We've got a $1.99. So you just sign up for that. And that's basically you're supporting the show. You don't really get anything for it other than knowing that you're supporting independent progressive media. Again, it's $2. So, that's like a basic level of support. And, again, it's really helpful if you want to just, sign up and don't really care about getting any sort of perks or anything like that. Then we have a $4.99, which basically you guys get priority. You get the, like I said, the little graphic, TYT Nation graphic. If I had emojis, you would have those as well, but I don't know how to do those. But once I figure it out, if I ever am able to figure it out, you'll get those as well. Can you imagine a Jeff emoji? Scary. But hey, if you want it, we'll figure out on a way to how to do that. And then I'm not sure. I haven't really instituted it yet, but I'm thinking of basically making the main show, the replay of the live show, available for YouTube members only. And so that's a good way to help the show and be able to watch the show whenever you want. So that's cool. All right. So that's the membership update. Again, we need your help to do the show. And there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Patreon.com/TYT Nation as well as channel memberships. And also there's Q Bounties. And so what are Q Bounties? Basically, you guys ask me a question. I'll make a video response to it. Or if you want to make me watch a video and then get my response to that video, then you can do a Q Bounty on that. For example, like you want me to watch a Sanders video, or hell, you want me to watch a Steven Crowder video or something, Peter Molyneux or something ridiculous, right? I'll watch the video and then, for however long, and I'll make a video of me watching the video and then I'll respond to it. Kind of interesting stuff that you can do to be able to, help the show. And that's what it's about. And you guys get something in return for it. So that's super cool. Okay. I've got some super chats as well already, so thank you guys. Jeanette Villalona, of course, thank you for that. And Shane McAndrew asks, how many donut Twitter users have I seen freak out about AOC's endorsement? I have not been on Twitter today, but I'm pretty sure it's almost all of them. Either that or they're like, endorsements, they don't matter. Imagine if she had endorsed Elizabeth Warren. I know, like, there are some people that were worried about that. I always kept the faith because I know AOC is progressive. But say that it happened, those same people would be like, best endorsement ever. I love the hypocrisy on it. But anyway, thank you for those super chats. Again, goes to help the show. All right. So let me do some quick debate recap before we get into the stories. So overall takeaway, too long. 3 hours, 12 people. Half of them do not belong there. So I'm talking about Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer, by the way, he said some interesting things, like, for example, about billionaires. He says, well, look, Bernie Sanders says billionaires shouldn't exist. I agree. I shouldn't exist. Okay, well, then bye. You can start by not existing on the stage. Literally, he bought his way into it. Come on, man. I know, again, I liked what he says, but we know that, I don't think he means it. And so it was kind of an interesting, weird little thing that was in there, right? And so Tom Steyer doesn't belong in there. Again, nobody who buys their way into the debate should be in the debate. Amy Klobuchar, what is she doing? She's polling at like less than 2%. You also have Cory Booker. Look, Castro said some interesting stuff, and he's a fairly interesting candidate, and I'm honest about that. But what is he doing? Who else, man? Look, Yang is actually interesting. I'd like to see him stay, to be honest, because he does make interesting points about automation. And so Yang, he can stay. Gabbard, look. So Gabbard tried attacking Elizabeth Warren. It kind of fell a little bit flat, in my opinion. But then again, look, on foreign policy, she does pretty well. So she can stay in the debate. Again, it should be Sanders, Warren, Biden, because he's still basically the front runner, and then every time he talks, he says something stupid, so that's awesome. Yang, and Gabbard. That's about it. Too many people in the debate, 3 hours. Dear God, they didn't need to be there. And so, I can't wait for the people to drop off. And the problem is unfortunately they keep hanging on, even though they're pulling it, 1% to 2%. So, right. Okay. Anyway, I think Bernie Sanders had an incredibly strong night. Elizabeth Warren, it was the first time for her being basically in the crosshairs, right? Because now she's basically considered to be the Democratic frontrunner at this point. I think it's a three-way race still between Biden, Sanders, and Warren. And she did not handle being the frontrunner very well. There were some questions, for example, Medicare for All. And I love the exchange between Bernie Sanders when he finally jumped into it. But I think it was versus Biden or Buttigieg when it came to Medicare for All. Because that's one thing, of course, all the establishment candidates instantly zeroed out on. They attacked Medicare for All. They said it's unaffordable. By the way, right now, we pay over the next 10 years, $35 trillion, expected to go up to at least 50, right? Over the next, like I said, 10 years. That's about $5 trillion a year on healthcare. Yikes. So yeah, we kind of need to do something about that. Medicare for All is the plan because it costs, at the most conservative estimate, $3.2 trillion a year. So right now we already pay more than what we would under a Medicare for All system. So under single payer. So there's that. I got super frustrated when Elizabeth Warren basically could not say, yes, we're going to raise taxes. Because look, here's the thing, right? Taxes on the middle class when it comes to Medicare for All. Here's the thing. You cannot be afraid to say what's going on, to say what's true. You will have a small tax increase with Medicare for All. Now, the rich will have a tax increase. The middle class will also have a tax increase. But the savings under Medicare for All, eliminating copays, deductibles, premiums, will still save you money, and everything will be covered. You don't have to have like a separate. And here's another point that I wish people would bring up more. I actually do wish Bernie Sanders would bring this up more. Medicare for All isn't just a normal health insurance, right? No, it also covers what a lot of health insurance doesn't cover, because right now we have separate vision and dental insurance. All of that would be included in Medicare for All. So you're eliminating vision and dental as well, which again, a lot of insurances don't actually cover. So you save even more under a Medicare for All system because you get more and you don't have to have these other insurances. And I really wish people would talk about that more because, look, dental is really important. Vision is really important. I require both. I think most of us, no, all of us require dental. And so, look, that's something that gets left out of the conversation as well. And that's another gigantic advantage for Medicare for All. And so Bernie Sanders has a problem with underselling himself and his plans. And look, I get it too. 12 people on stage, there's not a lot of time to go into policy details, which is why, of course, I like that Bernie clapped back with, I wrote the damn bill, so I would know. Gets rid of premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket costs. They're all gone, and you save money. And yes, there will be a tax increase. Again, Bernie Sanders went in to say what Elizabeth Warren was not able to say, and it frustrated me that she was not actually able to say that. So, and that's going to be a problem going forward. Again, that makes me think that she's not as strong on Medicare for All because she can't actually explain it, or she refuses to explain it. And so, but anyway, again, really, really strong night for Bernie Sanders. But look, they still ignored him for the most part. And yes, they still, at the end, they waited to the end to ambush him with a health question. Bernie Sanders handled it beautifully. He said, look, I'm feeling great. That little back and forth between, what was it? Now I forget if Biden and Sanders. No, it was Buttigieg and Sanders, or it might have been Booker. I don't know. It all kind of bled into. It was 3 hours, guys, 3 freaking hours. But there was a fun interaction where I think it was from between him and Booker, where he said, "Look, Bernie believes in what is it? Medical marijuana. Yeah, but I'm not on it." I should have had that video, but anyway, I didn't think I was going to talk about it for quite this amount of time. But there were some good moments. Again, Sanders very strong. Warren, not so great. Even though she talked for the most amount of time, Kamala Harris was an absolute disaster, as was Joe Biden as usual. Buttigieg was aggressive. Yang was aggressive, and at least interesting. And, of course, what you guys are pointing out as well, there was no mention of climate change. In fact, the only 2 people to bring it up were Bernie Sanders and Tom Steyer, which, of course, makes sense. So that's generally what happened in the debate. Too long. They need to cut out half the people and allow people to actually have more, dive more into policy. And that would make the debates far more interesting. Far more interesting. Okay. So with that, let's go into the stories here. Okay. So President Trump was hate watching the Democratic debate last night. And so you can tell that he was hate watching because this morning he tweeted this out. You would think that there is no way that any of the Democrat candidates that we witnessed last night could possibly become the president of the United States. Now you see why they have no choice but to push a totally illegal and absurd impeachment of one of the most successful presidents. Okay, so hate watching definitely, but using it as basically a way to try to defend himself from the impeachment inquiry, because of course. Now, as far as being successful, I don't think he knows what that word means. For example, he has not built the wall. He hasn't defeated ISIS because right now, thousands, hundreds of their fighters at least, possibly thousands, have escaped from Kurdish prisons because Kurdish people cannot protect the prisons, cannot protect the prisoners because they're currently under attack by Turkish military forces, which Donald Trump left the area and opened it wide up for the Turkish people to go after the Kurds. Not only that, so that's a big foreign policy failure. Sorry about that. Not only that, but he has not won on trade. For example, we're in a trade war with China. So we're getting actually taxed more as a result of that. North Korea, still incredibly dangerous, still has nuclear weapons, has not denuclearized. Iran, now there's danger when it comes to Iran, even though before we had an Iran deal, Trump, of course, ripped that up. We're still in the Middle East. We actually have not left Syria. We just moved out of northern Syria. So we moved our troops out of the way, essentially to allow the Turks to go in. We also are adding about 1,000 more troops to Saudi Arabia for some reason. I don't know why. And then, look, you look at that. There's pretty much no success here. What is he actually doing? I mean, unless you count kids in cages, and if you count kids in cages as a success, then you're a terrible person. Now, he followed up this tweet by saying, quote, "Our record economy would crash, just like in 1929, if any of those clowns became president." Really? We have a clown president. He literally came from reality TV and was a TV show carnival barker, essentially. And you want to call other people clowns? Really? Really? Look, the White House itself, and story after story, leak after leak, by the way, of the White House being an absolute disaster. Nobody knows what they're doing. There's record staff turnover. Many of your former allies have turned against you. A couple of examples: Michael Cohen, a personal fixer, as well as Anthony Scaramucci, many others. I mean, Jeff Sessions. Oh my God, too many, right? Rex Tillerson, going on and on the list. Okay, and so you want to call other people clowns? Really? Nah, give me a break. Every polling organization, by the way, save for Rasmussen, has Trump losing. And this is why he's worried, right? And this is why he's saying, there will be a recession. Our economy will crash. Not a recession, depression. That's what happened in 1929. If any of these other people become president. Now, you know what caused the Great Depression, 1929? Unregulated, unfettered capitalism. And that's what happened. And so right now, we have deregulated to the point where a recession could happen very soon. So you want to talk about clowns, you want to talk about economic disaster, we're heading there. Donald Trump has definitely put the gas on it, even though he's not quite at fault. I wouldn't blame him for the whole thing, because certainly we've had factors pre-Trump that led to economic problems, like, for example, the massive economic inequality that was not created by Donald Trump, but exacerbated by the giant tax cuts and deregulation, which Trump has continued in his administration. So now going to the polling, right? And why he's saying these things, because nearly every polling organization, save for Rasmussen, has Donald Trump losing to a Democrat, losing to Biden, Warren, or Sanders in a general election matchup. He's now also in the middle of an impeachment inquiry where, even according to a Fox News poll, 51% of Americans support impeachment and removal of the president. That's an absolute disaster. And yet, he's calling the Democrats clowns. This is at a time when major policies like Medicare for All now have majority approval, 66%, among the American people, despite constant attacks from both the right wing and the center. And this is why the Republican plan, before it was ended by John McCain, was in the low 30s. Yet Donald Trump calls the Democrats clowns. Maybe you should look in the mirror and he'll see who the clown prince of clownishness really is. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. Yeah, we'll do that one. All right. So it appears that one of Rudy Giuliani's lawyers is already running for the hills. With just 2 weeks on the job, former Watergate prosecutor John Sale has left Rudy's team. So now this was revealed by CNN reporter Erica Orden. And she said that Sale would no longer be working for Giuliani, but there was no immediate explanation as to why. And so that's very curious. Now, Sale's departure was announced soon after Giuliani announced on Tuesday that he would not comply with the subpoenas from House Democrats. Those subpoenas, of course, are related to the Ukraine impeachment inquiry. And so he just says, oh, subpoenas? No. Not going to happen. So let me give you a tweet here from Shaman Pro Kupes. And he says this: Rudy Giuliani is parting ways with the personal attorney representing him so far in matters related to the impeachment inquiry. Giuliani confirmed to CNN that his current attorney, John Sale, is ending his representation of the former New York mayor shortly. Zoe Tillman responds to that by saying, just spoke with John Sale. He said he was brought on by Giuliani for the sole task of responding to Democrat subpoena, and that task is done. So the representation is over. This was the plan from the start. He said he doesn't know if Giuliani has any other counsel. So now that's interesting. Sale was brought in to help with the subpoena, right, to respond to it. Giuliani has responded by saying, we're not going to give you what you want. What are you going to do about it? So Sale says, what can I do? I'm out. I'm done. So that seems odd to me, right? Because, look, the whole subpoena thing, well, Giuliani should go, again, this is an impeachment inquiry. It's not a request from Congress. A subpoena is them saying, you need to come in or give us the information that we require. And if you don't, well, then we have the power to put you in jail. Literally. And so here's the thing, though, right? Giuliani is dealing with Democrats who are notoriously weak. In fact, Nancy Pelosi says, I'm not actually going to hold a formal vote for the impeachment inquiry, which, look, you don't even have to do, right? But the Giuliani and Donald Trump's big defense, the Republicans' defense is, well, it's not an official inquiry. There hasn't been a vote on it, so I guess. But again, that shouldn't actually matter. Nonetheless, Nancy Pelosi does not want to go on record of having people vote in the House for the official impeachment inquiry. And so she is being incredibly weak and saying, well, we already have what we need. Yes, technically true, but I think, to be honest, it's a CYA operation for the red state Democrats so that they do not have to commit to a vote. That does not inspire confidence. Not at all. Look, if the Democrats were stronger, and I know that would be a wonderful thing if we had a strong Democratic Party. is if they were stronger, they would hold a formal impeachment vote. And then if Giuliani and Donald Trump said, we're still not going to give you the information, we're still not going to respond to your subpoenas, then you would send the sergeant at arms, or I should say you would introduce them to the sergeant of arms, and then have that person take you to the jail that they have sitting in Congress. That's the whole point, so that people do not ignore subpoenas from Congress. And so we know Nancy Pelosi not strong enough to do that. She wouldn't risk her beloved decorum. Now, the other thing about this sail jumping ship could be because maybe he knows something and doesn't want to get involved. Maybe this is too hot for him. Maybe he's like, there's nothing I can do. Or, there's nothing that I want to do. I don't know. Look, recently you had Giuliani's henchmen getting arrested. Lev Parnas, Igor Fruman. They were literally trying to leave the country on a one-way ticket. You don't leave the country if you've done nothing wrong. And again, these people were working very closely with Giuliani. That's suspicious. Maybe the lawyer's like, I'm not touching that. Not interested. I don't know for sure. What I do know is it's not really a good look when your lawyers start jumping ship. Especially after it was just over a Scaramucci worth of time. Scaramucci was fired 11 days. And so 11 days is now considered a Scaramucci. It's been just about 2 weeks. And so barely over a Scaramucci. So I don't know. Man. The fact that this guy says he doesn't know if Giuliani has other representation, also kind of sketchy. I mean, I guess he doesn't have to care because he's no longer on the case, but it is sort of weird. Like, I don't know. Does Giuliani have another lawyer? Does he really need one? I don't know. Giuliani's a lawyer himself, but he's also kind of a terrible lawyer. And so I don't know what's going to happen, man. All I know is that Giuliani should probably be concerned because, again, he is being shown to have been really thick into this Ukraine thing, connected to Parnas, connected to Fruman. And so we'll see what happens, man. We'll see if the Democrats actually do grow a spine, but probably not. And so we'll see what happens from here. Okay. More news, actually, related to Giuliani. All right. Here. Okay. We have a little bit of breaking news. Earlier today, David Correa, one of the 4 co-defendants charged last week in the Southern District of New York, and the co-founder to the company Fraud Guarantee, was arrested at JFK Airport earlier today. Now, if that name sounds familiar, it's because it's the company that's co-founded by Rudy Giuliani's Ukrainian Floridan clients / henchmen, Lev Parnas. So both Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, who worked with that company, were arrested last week at Dulles Airport in Virginia while trying to leave the country using a one-way ticket, which is not at all suspicious. Now, they were both charged with 2 counts of conspiracy, 1 count of making false statements, and another count of falsifying records. And so these are all related to campaign finance violations. Now, these 2 also gave lots of money, gigantic sums of money, to a super PAC related to Donald Trump's campaign in 2016. Prior to that, they seem to have had no interest in American politics, which, again, is strange. Now, they were also big donors. They had maxed out in donations to former Republican Congressman Pete Sessions and House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Now, that donation, I believe, is in relation to Pete Sessions trying to pressure the firing of the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine at the time, who also just recently testified that she was pressured out of her position by orders on Donald Trump. So, interesting stuff out here. So now, also named in the incident unsealed last Thursday were defendants Correa and Andrei Kukushkin. Both Correa and Kukushkin have been charged with one count of conspiracy. And so these are all people, by the way, that are related to Giuliani, that are in some form worked with Giuliani, whether it be through a client or also working together in order to dig up dirt on Joe Biden in Ukraine. So now Giuliani said that Parnas and his company Fraud Guarantee, which is a hilarious name, retained the services of his management and security firm, Giuliani Partners LLC, in August 2018 to consult on business technology and provide legal advice on regulatory issues. Parnas and Fraud Guarantee reportedly paid Giuliani $500,000 in two different installments of $250,000 apiece, $250,000. Fruman and Parnas assisted Giuliani when it came to the investigation of, like I said, Joe Biden in Ukraine, as well as trying to find evidence of to discredit the Mueller report on behalf of Trump. That's CrowdStrike. That's finding the so-called server somewhere hiding in Ukraine, which they apparently haven't seemed to locate yet. But again, that was something that would have helped Donald Trump in his election chances. So Correa's involvement appears to, it remains to be seen. But Fraud Guarantee is one of two companies started by Parnas, who co-founded the company with Correa. And the other, which I don't think involves Correa, but the other company started by Parnas, sought natural gas deals in Ukraine as well, and helped push out an ambassador that wouldn't play ball with the president. And so there is quite a bit there, actually. A lot of shady people around Rudy Giuliani. But Giuliani himself, of course, attracts those kind of shady people by also being incredibly shady. And they all happen to surround Donald Trump. Now, I don't believe that's a coincidence. Maybe it's just Donald Trump hiring all the best people, the greatest people, the best criminals. Who knows? We'll have to see if Correa knows anything, or if he's willing to talk. We'll have more information on that later on. Fun. All right. So I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We've got Bernie's endorsements, as well as an unfortunate comment. So from a CNN host. So we'll talk about that. Stay right here. Read some comments when I get back, and thank some patrons and members, and do the rest of the show. All right. Stay right here. Around the Nation. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Around the Nation right here, TYT Nation. Jeff Waldorf here with you. Okay, so we do have some comments here that I want to read. First, some member comments. Jeanette Villalona says, Giuliani is as bad in the scandal as Trump. Oh, definitely. At least from my opinion. We have to wait for, of course, the facts to come out. Sarge Tech says, Trump is ruining the country. I'm sorry. Freudian slip. Running the country like a reality show. He's getting low ratings and will be taken off the air. We'll see. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the final season. Concluding the final season. It's getting interesting. / insane. Listing characters says, Jeff, please don't use the Clown Prince in connection to Joker. The Joker actually had real work ethic for his crimes. Oh no, that was not intentional. As a Joker, believe me, Donald Trump would be basically a flunky to the Joker. So, in a not smart one at that. And then finally, Torn Tokoroa, Tokoroa. I'm having a hard time with that. But he says, he or she says, new background is looking good. Well, thank you. I feel somewhat semi-pro here. So, look, Ma, we're a real show. Okay. Or we look like a real show. Anyway. All right. Then I want to give a shout out to people who support us on Patreon. So I want to thank David Joseph, Don Shorey, Dincy Nublet, and Dwayne Godfrey. So thank you to those patrons, patreon.com/TYTNation. Also, let's go to channel members here. And I want to thank Alicia Smith, Leonard Favo, and Alex Roby. So thank you. You can sign up to become a channel member. There's two different options, $1.99, $4.99. You can do that by hitting the join button. Super, super easy to do. Or go to patreon.com/TYTNation and, pledge whatever you want. And again, all that goes to help the show. Or Q Bounties as well. I think later on I'm going to do a Q Bounty off the air and put that up later. Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, we'll wait on that because we've got plenty of stories to get to. And so let's do that now and go to, let's see. Gotta do my sidebars, guys. And okay, go. Okay, all right. Okay. Bernie Sanders just got some amazing new endorsements. So now this follows last night's debate where Bernie Sanders not only showed that he was in great health, but also that he's ready to fight and win. And so now we've got amazing news to follow that great debate performance up. First, you have Representative Ilhan Omar, who has officially endorsed Bernie Sanders, as well as Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who plans to endorse Mr. Sanders at a rally in New York, as well as Rashida Tlaib. Hell yeah. Now, Omar, of course, released a statement. She said, Bernie Sanders is leading a working class movement to defeat Donald Trump that transcends generation, ethnicity, and geography. And she also tweeted out this video, which I will now show you a part of. Take a look.
They are more of the younger, fresher face, more aggressive, more liberal.
The video here. Apologize for that.
I am so proud to endorse Senator Bernie Sanders for president. Senator Bernie Sanders is the only candidate that has built a movement and continues to build a movement that transcends gender, ethnicity, religion, and we know that in order to take on Trump, we're going to need a unifier, someone who understands what the fight looks like, and someone who is ready to defeat him. I'm one of the people that was inspired by the movement that the senator has built. There was an America that I dreamed about. There's an America that most people believe in. It is an ideal. It's not reality yet. And he started the work of organizing for that America. And that has inspired me to get involved and run myself to help others also organize for that America.
All right, so you can watch the rest of the video, of course. Should have a link in the description. But, man, so that's a pretty strong endorsement. And so not only that, but she also talked about one of the reasons that she gave her endorsement is because of the legislation that they had introduced together. Now, one of those was in June to cancel student loan debt, like all student loan debt. And also recently, they also got together to make sure that all school lunches for children are free. So they've been working together. And so, of course, that earned her endorsement. She said, I believe Bernie Sanders is the best candidate to take on Donald Trump in 2020. Awesome. So in his own statement, Bernie Sanders responded by saying that Omar is a leader of strength and courage, which sounds about right. So now, I wonder how they're going to spin Bernie Sanders not getting enough women to support him. Look, it's kind of strange because now you have, it's a strange argument. Now you have three members of the squad, Ilhan Omar, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and Rashida Tlaib, that are either endorsing him, have endorsed him, or plan to endorse him. And so, but I'm sure, of course, Nate Silver will say the most dynamic and exciting congresswomen we have are just residue, whose endorsements don't really matter. And of course, you're going to have Nancy Pelosi, who's going to downplay this. So, and look, already I've seen it. Already I've seen, endorsements, not a big deal. I mean, all right, so we had some strange internet difficulties, but we're back. Okay, so we had a massive, like I said, crash on the stream, but we will pick it up and continue the story. So look, this endorsement from Ilhan Omar is really important. Again, these progressive women have changed the conversation. They fought against Donald Trump, corporate Democrats, got massive followings. And look, I know Warren's camp wanted this endorsement badly, and they tried very, very hard to get it. But for me, look, I never had any doubt that, that these women, the members of the squad, would endorse Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is one of the reasons they ran. Ilhan Omar and AOC were inspired by Bernie Sanders. During her race, they were endorsed by Senator Sanders. Since then, of course, they've endorsed other people, other progressives. They've worked together to try to help people win. So to me, it makes absolute sense that they would endorse Bernie. Now, what's funny about Ilhan Omar, right, is that I wonder if they can make now that she's endorsed a Jewish senator, if they can actually try to continue to make the anti-Semitism charges stick. Probably not. But they're going to try anyway, of course. But so now the establishment not happy about this. But it means that Bernie Sanders, his campaign, stronger than ever, and they better watch out because Bernie Sanders is back and he is not here to play. Okay. So there we are. So let's get to the urban comments. So let me go here and get the video ready for you guys. Sorry for the technical issues, like I said. I was just very unfortunate. All right. Now, CNN anchor John King is under fire for a particular comment that he had made during some analysis of the debate last night. So during their coverage, King discussing the incoming endorsements of members of the squad, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar of Bernie Sanders. They had this conversation. Let's take a look.
They are more of the younger, fresher face, more aggressive, more liberal, less compromising. Let's talk about working with Republicans. And one of the questions for Bernie Sanders has been, in a very different race this time, can he find a lane to victory? There is no doubting his fundraising. There is no doubting the depth of his support across the country. But is it in the teens? Can he get into 20s? How do you win? That will certainly help him. But it will also, I think, Senator Klobuchar is coming in to join us now, have some of the other candidates say, wait a minute. Is this too far left? Is this too uncompromising? Is it too urban? Is it too internet? Does the Democratic Party need to find a broader audience? It is going to stoke the very debate we saw play out on the stage tonight.
Okay. So, look, some of what he said was perfectly fine, right? So, yes, AOC and the rest of the squad, they are younger, they are fresher, they're aggressive, they're progressive. They're not compromising with Republicans when it comes to Republican policy. And so that's great, right? Those are all very positive things. But they said also, are they too far left? Too urban. Too urban. Wait. What does that mean? Well, and look, in case you're unfamiliar, this saying something is urban is basically a dog whistle people use to describe generally the African American community. Yikes. Why would you say that? And here's the irony, right? About that. So now they're saying, Bernie Sanders, what if his support is too urban, too diverse, right? And that's what that means. Again, the last time he ran, 2016, and by the way, the smears continue, right? Is that, Bernie Sanders, too white, too male. Now it's too female, too diverse. Really? I mean, come on, dude. Really? Again, they're still doing the Bernie bro smear. In fact, there was a recent article that came out penned by someone related to Elizabeth Warren. So why don't the Bernie and his bros go in and line up behind Warren? Now, you got to be kidding me. Ridiculous, absolute smear. In fact, more women, more Latinx people, African Americans, just a giant amount of diverse people support Bernie Sanders, and they do so more so than white males. So white males are actually a minority when it comes to support for Bernie Sanders. Most of the white males actually are going for, and this is actually more affluent white people are going for Elizabeth Warren / Joe Biden. And so I wonder if people are going to start calling them Warren bros. Probably not. I doubt we'll see that, right? And along with that, I love how he says, they're too internet. What does that even mean? Look, here's the thing. Young people are a gigantic voting bloc, right? They're on the internet, as are a lot of people. Bernie, he's not getting the majority of boomers. And I say that knowing that there are plenty of boomers who do support Bernie Sanders and progressives. And you guys are wonderful. But generally, according to polling, Bernie does not do well with 65 or older. He generally does well with millennials and Gen Z. And so older people tend to go more towards Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren, according to polling breakdowns. But again, to internet. What does that mean? I don't know. These people at CNN, they're out of touch. They don't understand. So now, John King gets some criticism here from Sean King, and this is fun. Sean King comes out and tweets, "Shame on you for this bigotry." Ooh, ouch. And then Sanders campaign manager Faiz Shakir also tweeted this in response. Is this too far left? Is this too uncompromising? Is it too urban? Is it too internet? Does the Democratic Party need to find a broader audience? And he responds, no, no, no. And finally, no. Thanks for asking. I love that. So now, here's what people on CNN and John King don't get. Why is an old, frumpy Jewish man, why is he getting most of his support from young, diverse people? It's because of the policies. And again, this is related to the urban, or I'm sorry, not urban, to the internet, to internet, right? It's because thanks to the internet, you can actually see that he's held the same policy positions and has been fighting for them for nearly 40 years. Okay. He's been fighting against a system that's been openly hostile to his ideas. He's been laughed at, his policies blocked, attacked, destroyed. You know, he's been called communist, called socialist. He's been called all sorts of smears, sexist, even racist, all for trying to make the lives of regular people better. I think after, I don't know, maybe 10 years of that, most people would give up. Maybe even less. But not Bernie Sanders. Sanders has never wavered. He's never stopped. He's never, considered giving up. He's continued to fight for, the whole time. And so when people look that up and they see his record and they see that he's been fighting for the same policies for so long against a system that it has been incredibly openly hostile to him, they think, that's my guy. That's a guy I know he's going to fight for me. And so here's the other thing, right? He also understands regular people because he is regular people. And when he doesn't understand something, he actually goes to learn. Like I said, he did not have a lot of, diverse support back in 2016. Not as much, right? And he learned to listen to people, to people of color. When they say, hey, this is a problem, maybe we should focus on this as well. He listens, and he learns. And so last time, while his campaign was criticized for being, quote unquote, too white, now it's not too white. Now, oh no, it's too, quote, urban. Really? In fact, again, I got to go back to Nate Silver, who calls Sanders' support among diverse people residue. Oh, they're just the residue that's left. Ugh, what a hack. No, here's the thing. Not only does Bernie Sanders do well with people who are diverse, he also actually does well when it comes to rural areas rural areas. He did so in 2016. Bernie Sanders also got independent, even Republican voters and support. There are plenty of Republicans that said, yes, I would vote for Bernie Sanders. If you want to beat Trump, and this is what it comes down to, if you want to beat Trump, you got to use the anti-Trump. And who is that? That is unquestionably Bernie Sanders. The squad knows it. Young people know it. Older people, a lot of people know. And when he wins the primary, I believe everyone will know it. And the CNNs of the world, well, they're going to get a hard wake-up call. Can't wait. Okay. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the stories. So, thank you. Let's go back here. Thank you guys for sticking with the show, despite technical problems. I don't know what happened. Well, you know, it's been pretty windy, pretty bad here. So maybe that's what happened. But anyway, thank you. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. I want to thank new channel member Ann Anderson. Thank you for signing up and supporting independent progressive media. She did so by signing up to be a YouTube channel member, and you can do so as well. So thank you all. Love you. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you guys tomorrow.